Why is there so much security at the airport? I'll tell you why. Because in the 80s, Muslims would hijack airplanes, jumbo jets, commercial flights. So we had to put security. Why do we have heightened security at the airports? I'll tell you why. Because of September 11th, 2001 and a bunch of Muslims. You know, if it wasn't for Muslims, you could just go to the airport, walk through the ticketing counter, and board the plane. 15 minutes. No, you got to be there an hour and a half before your flight. Why? Because of Muslims. What a burden on society these people have become. They're wicked. Anywhere Islam is established becomes a desolate wasteland. That's why they want to migrate out of their nations that they're from, because they're under a curse. Why are they under a curse? Because the Bible says those who curse Abraham, Isaac, and Israel will be cursed. Those who bless Abraham, Isaac, and Israel will be blessed. And what do? They chant death to America, death to Israel, and then they come to the United States. They study the Constitution and weaponize the Constitution. And then you got these United Nations countries that are Muslim, and they set up these international law, and they don't care about law. So it gives them an advantage, especially terrorists have an advantage. They're not bound by international law. They can do whatever they want when it comes to warfare. I'm just saying, we got to get them out of this country. We need to pass legislation where they're out, and we need to change the laws, because the Constitution of the United States guarantees freedom of religion. But the drafters of the Constitution of the United States, we're all Christians. And I guarantee you that terrorist attacks are not part of freedom of religion. Invading a nation empty-handed, without weapons, is still an invasion. What they're doing in Europe and sending what they call migrants, they're not migrants. Those are enemy combatants who are unarmed. That's all they are. And that's what they should be seen as. And Dearborn, we need to hold them accountable. Laws need to be changed. All we need to do really is change Islam from a religion so that they lose their tax exempt status here in the United States. Every mosque should be considered a business and a political organization. They shouldn't have the tax exempt status. Come on, people. Come on, lawmakers. Figure it out. Protect these people in America. You know, the first crusade was started by a guy named Peter the Hermit. And there's going to be one more crusade, and it's starting. It's starting in Dearborn, Michigan. And it needs to continue throughout this country and then spread to France, Germany, England, Australia. And we need to kick them out and send them straight back to their 52 nations where they came from. And if they don't like it, and if the UN doesn't like it, we should go to war against those UN nations, all those nations that persecuted Donald Trump when they stopped the elevator that he was going up and they messed with the teleprompter. All those nations, they sit there and laugh and say, ha ha ha, you have to abide by international law, but we can go in there and kill civilians by way of September 11th, 2001, Beslan school massacre, 2005, Malik Nadal Hassan, I'm just saying, it's time to wake up, people. It's time for the Christians to unite and understand that we are not, this is the United States of America. The Constitution and the drafters of the Constitution never made a provision that a religion should be allowed to commit acts of terror against Americans. Therefore, Islam is not a religion, and the drafters of the Constitution would never have issued the provision for freedom of religion had they known that Muslims would come to the United States and weaponize the Constitution.